Hello y'all. I am making some pine tar, and I already added my lye water to my oils, and as you can see I've got some big chunks here. That's the lard. I'm making pine tar tonight because there is a few people that know what pine tar is, and they absolutely love pine tar for their skin ailments. I cannot say anything other than what the federal government says I can say, and that soap cleans, but do your research on pine tar. And I didn't leave the pine tar on my table, but let me go and grab it for you right quick. This is the pine tar I use. It's all in Swedish because it's from Sweden. It is medical pharmaceutical grade pine tar. The brand is Auson, Auson. And there's only a couple places you can get it. It's only 1 liter, and it's about 40 or 50 bucks for this 1 liter. But you don't need very much. So that's where your cost savings is going to be if you're looking at your cost of goods, your COGs. I used to use, I'll show you the one, and I still have it on my shelf. I didn't throw it away yet. I used to use this one. It's an American brand, but it has creosote in it, which is a carcinogen. And I didn't want that in my soap. As y'all know, a lot of y'all know, I'm very particular what goes in my soap. And so I quit using that one a few years ago when I found out about this Auson. And you really don't need a whole lot. I mean, seriously, a whole lot of people put, I don't know, 10 to 20% in this. My formula here has 3% Auson pine tar, and that's all it needs. So when you look at the cost of goods and you buy versus that can versus the Auson brand, it pretty much works out to be the same, because so many people use more than, 3%. Like I said, I think they use, sometimes people I've seen have used 20%, but you just don't need that much to get the same kind of effect. So I'm going to grab my stick blender. This is the other part of it. I was going to let this sit a little bit longer. This can get really, really, really tricky. I could go ahead and blend this a little bit with my stick blender, which I'll probably do in a minute, but I went on ahead and measured my pine tar, and look at my little fancy makeshift measuring thing. This is what I measured in, because it's pretty, I mean, I'll show it to you. It's really, really thick, very thick, like syrup. So, but anyway, look it up. There are some good benefits. I just can't say what they are here. But anyway, it's stinky. I don't like the way it smells as it's curing out here. But it kind of just dissipates. The smell will after a couple of days. And so I really like to use the Swedish pine tar over just the American made. I have done quite a bit of research on the two, and I just prefer to use the one that is the Auson brand is done in a closed kiln versus the Bickmore, which I don't know how they process it, but I know it's not in a closed kiln, and it does have some known carcinogens in the American brand. So, and I trust the Europeans a lot more than I do Americans. So anyway, I am going to hit this with the stick blender a little bit and get it to moving a little bit, and then I'm going to, once all these little pieces are finished, I will add this pine tar, and you guys will see just how fast it goes. It goes really fast. In fact, I won't even use the stick blender anymore after I finish this part. So it starts to go translucent once all the oils are added together, and those pieces are pretty much gone. I'm going to just hit it a couple more times, and it's all gone. So you notice that it's still really liquid right now. Hey, Betsy. So it's still really liquid right now, but once I add this pine tar and pH don't like each other. As you guys know, saponification, which is the chemical process of soap making, is very, very fickle sometimes. And when you add some additives in, it will speed up what we call trace really, really fast. And so trace is, I'm giving you soap terms for those of you who want to learn. But trace is the amount of time it takes this to start getting to set up. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's already, I probably shouldn't have hit it so fast with everything. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have to be really quick here. I used a knife to kind of break the fall from the can. But I'm just going to use this little, well, I don't know what that is. I'm going to use this little spatula. It's a little bit freaky, y'all, how fast this goes. Pine tar also doesn't like heat. And that's the other problem is when you're making soap, it will heat up on you. And so you really have to work fast, especially with the pine tar. So, boy, this is strong stuff. So anyway, I'm going to quickly mix this, try to mix this through really well. I did add some salt and sugar to my water. The salt is for the hardness of the bar and sugar is for more bubbles. So this is already pretty much thick. So what I'm going to do is I hope that I've stirred it up good enough. Because it's going to be soap on a stick here in a minute if I don't pour. So I have one mold that I dedicate to this bar. Because if you are to use if you use a mold and then you use it again for pine tar and something else, this stuff is so strong that I almost think that it would if I used a silicone mold, that it would just retain the smell. Man, you see how thick did you see how thick that was? It's very, very thick. And I like to try to put a top on these, but my goodness, I'm sorry, I've got the bucket in here in the frame. It goes so quick. And I like for my customers to get a pretty big bar of soap. And I'm going to bang this down a little bit. It may make some noise. But the big thing is that with this soap, it's so fast that you kind of just have to add it to the corners so that all the bar gets the same. But when you're labeling your soap here in America, it is okay for you to label your soap with, say your bar is 5 ounces. And you label the soap as 4.5 ounces. But if you're labeling your soap and you're like making mass labels, and you label all the labels to say 5, and then one of your bars of soap goes below that 5, then you run the risk of being fined by the government, because at any time they could come and say, oh, you didn't put this one here says it has 5 in it, it only has 4.75 ounces. So, see, I don't even have time to move this very much, but I was going to try to make some kind of design on here, but anyway, I'm not having much luck because it is already soap on a stick. So as soon as you see your pine tar start thickening up in your pail or whatever your bucket, whatever you use, go ahead and start pouring it right then, because by the time you get to the top here, you're going to be it's just going to be a big mess. You see how thick that is already? This mold is a 99-ounce mold, Emerald Mary. It's 99 ounces. I don't know how big it is. I would have to measure it for you, but this was one that I got off of Etsy some years back. Somebody's husband was making them and selling them. I thought, hey, that'll be the perfect mold. And it ended up just being that I used it for pine tar and nothing else, because I am not a fan. You can ask my friend Betsy here, we're not fans of having to line stuff. We don't have time to line stuff, and we make lots of soap, and we don't want to have to line anything. But anyway, so it got quick. Went to trace really fast, is what I was trying to say. I lost my words. But anyway, it also, when I picked up that bucket, it is really, really warm. That pine tar really makes it get warm. So, and I have this left over here. I don't know what I'll do with it. I'll probably just shred it. You see how that is? And to shred, I'll show you what I use to shred. You guys can find these. Sometimes I've seen them at like thrift stores and places like that, or for use on eBay. But here's what I use, is a salad shooter. It is super duper easy. I just put the soap in here and just mash it down as it's turned on. And then I make this soap. So all of my soap gets recycled into what I call a confetti bar. So you guys could just, put all your soaps in there. If you don't use your slivers, your leftover pieces, and make like little packages to sell to people, just try me. You could just, crumble them up and put them in here, and they make nice little shreds of soap. So, and I put all of my shreds in here. You can see them in here. This one's full of shreds. Some of these shreds I've shredded myself, and then some I have beveled my soap. My beveler, my phone is actually sitting on my beveler, but I've beveled my soap, and then I just put all the shreds in there. So, tall, skinny, yes, this is a tall, skinny mode. I'll show you what the bars look like when they're finished for the pine tar. Mary, hold on. Let me grab me one of those. The brown bars.
The pine tar?
Yeah. So this is what it looks like. It's a tall, skinny. So I just like these because they fit in my hand better. And so this is some that I already had sitting there that I need to wrap. But anyway, this is what they look like. These will be a little bit taller. It's kind of what I'm going for. So anyway, so this is what they look like. And somebody at one of my stores already has sold me out of this a couple times. So anyway, so I guess that's all. Thanks, Mastea. I really appreciate that. I will let y'all go, but look up the Auson pine tar. I'm going to show you the pine tar again, so you can see my container's a little bit messy. But this is the Swedish pine tar. It's from Kungsbacka, Kungsbacka, Sweden. Auson AB. So this is what I use as opposed to using the American brand. And you can go back and watch the beginning of the video if you want to know why I don't use American. So have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Bye for now.